Hey guys, I just want to make a quick announcement. I don't know if you guys can hear or not. It's not really an announcement, but it's more of a heads up. If you guys can hear my fan for some reason, it's because our air conditioner broke the other day, so it's incredibly hot in here. So I have to have my fan on high. So I just want to apologize if you guys can hear the sound of it. So either way, anyway, let's welcome back to Umineko and let's start this. It was already approaching 10 o'clock at night. By now, the typhoon had wrapped itself around Nakajima. Even the rose garden that had looked so beautiful midday was beaten down upon the fierce winds and resisted with all its might, unbolting and trying to keep the flowers from blowing away. In the rose garden was Shannon in the lead, Battler holding up an umbrella, Jessica and George carrying the sleeping Mary on his back after all heading for the guest house. We can at least make it to the guest house from here. Shannon, it's fine, you should go back and rest. Don't worry, seeing you off is also part of my duty. The family conference is going inside, and Mama and Genji-san are probably getting stressed. If we keep you, they'll misunderstand and think you are being lazy. That's right. Just graciously accepting our offer might be the best way to avoid burdening people. Thank you, Shannon. Not at all. Certainly, as my lady has said, it's very intense inside the mansion today. Therefore, coming with all of you allowed me a breath of fresh air, and I've been able to relax a bit. The family conference, the way they went to all the trouble of chasing his kids out, so they probably talked about something shady. Probably. I'm sure there's something we could do to help out. Just trying to stay out of their way is probably the best way for us to be useful. I'm sure it's all just money, money, money. Even though they act like they're so rich most of the time, even when it gets tough, they all start getting pushy. Why don't they just be graceful and split it evenly between everyone? Hee, that'd be awesome. It'd be nice if I got a share too. If I got some too, I split it with Shannon and Shannon right away. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate the sentiment. Shannon isn't greedy at all. Normally, girls of your age would have tons of things they'd want to buy, I guess, but none of the things I want can be bought with the money. Oh, how unselfish. If you lined up all the things I wanted, all the gold in the world wouldn't be enough. As if you're talking about things that can be bought with money. I wonder what these things that can't be bought with money that Shannon wants are. Do you have any idea, George-san? Well, I wonder. I'm not Shannon, so how could I know? I don't know either. George and Shannon looked down, their faces red. Battler had also heard what was going on with them, so he knew what Jessica was teasing them about. George, I think he's a person I respect. I think you met up with a really great person, Shannon Chan. Yeah, I also feel relieved when we can leave Shannon to George and Nissan. So stop teasing. It's a serious issue for us. And more importantly, what about you, Jessica Chan? Have you been able to get a little closer to Canon-kun? What? So you and Canon-kun are like that? Well, that's dirty, George, twisting the conversation around like that. It's dirty. As they had an animated discussion with ups and downs. I was about to say UPS. The four kids headed for the guest house. The annual family conference is extremely important to the Ushiramiya family, and this year seemed like it was going to be especially important. Apparently, the family head Kenzo was personally going to be making a very serious announcement, and everyone other than the adults had been strictly ordered to leave. Butler had attended the family conference in 6 years, so he didn't really notice, but according to Jessica, there's going to be a very tense atmosphere tonight. Completely different from a normal year. Comments has made it clear that Kenzo, whose remaining life was short, was going to make some big announcement about the succession of the headship and distribution of his fortune. Whew. But I'm surprised to think that grandfather's actually going to make an appearance. I see, so this is the witch's counterattack. Q. I wanted to leave the Joker called Kenzo face down a little longer, but it's probably about time to turn that over. Trump cards exist to be used. Damn, my theory that grandfather was dead since the beginning and different 18th person has snuck in is now suddenly torn apart. I had foreseen that you begin to doubt Kenzo eventually. Yes, now your reasoning has all gone back to square one, right? With this, your theory that Kenzo was dead at the very beginning and now is hiding as 18th person goes poof. Fuck, but no way I'll lose heart. There's only one theory gone. I'll turkey like a storm, like a tornado. Cackle, I've got no other way. I have no other way. Even the first twilight has not yet begun. It is far too early to give up. That's right, and it's not like it was denied with the right truth. At this point in time, Battler's story hasn't been defeated. It's too early to say that you've won. Yeah, that's right. It's still too early for me to just swallow her story. Grandfather's supposed to be finally appear, but there's a chance that they'll talk about how his health has gotten worse and he won't appear at all. After all, Uncle Cross might be trying to desperately hide the fact that grandfather really is dead until the last second. I see. You could also think of it that way. Do you as you please. It will be resolved soon. Very soon. Yeah. All of the relatives and Nanjo could be seen in the dining hall. Nanjo sat alone quietly watching the wind and rain outside. Cross sat down in the seat of his own rank with Natsuhi standing motionlessly at his side. The other siblings were gathered at the opposite end of the long table, whispering to each other. Is that true? Yes, Amara said the person who gave her the umbrella was father. What? What in the world? In other words, our strategy has collapsed from the roots. Not just our strategy, since father's healthy and has said that he'll make an announcement himself, our trivial bargaining with Nissan was completely pointless. Yep, that old bastard. Why couldn't he have just shown himself right away without making a show of it? Thanks to that, we've just been quarreling with Aniki uselessly. Or maybe he wanted to test us on that point. I might not be the one to talk since we aren't related by blood, but your father's very intelligent, correct? Our arguments during the day were probably overheard by one of the servants who reported to the father, and incredible. The fact that we were making a fuss with father's inheritance as our goal right now is in the open. Just incredible. Eva uncharacteristically held her head dejected, as if Kari has said everything has been going according to Kinzo's plan from the beginning, and if there's a huge setup that had been kept up for over a year trying to find Assimilate's true intentions, and they had fallen for it completely. We still don't know that for sure that if it's reached father's ears. No, it definitely has. Everyone but Nissan claimed that father was dead, and none of us believed in father's good health. It's already over. Father will make an announcement. Nissan will become the successor, and he'll say we aren't even qualified to wear the one wing. Oh, why? Nissan, get a hold of yourself. Rosa-san, I wonder if I really received that umbrella from father. What do you mean? Maria-chan might have seen father, however, we haven't seen him. Maria-chan only claims to have seen him. What are you saying? Are you saying that Maria's lying? Calm down, Rosa. Maria-chan didn't necessarily lie. Still, she's an innocent kid, right? For example, if Genji-san came up to her and said something like, I was told by your grandfather to hand this to you, Maria-sama, then even if Maria-chan hadn't met Dad, she still might say that she got an umbrella from him, right? That's right. That trick could work. But what is it Maria-chan said? Grandfather came and handed me the umbrella. Yes, that's what she said. She clearly said that she received an umbrella directly from grandfather. Directly, huh? Then we're stuck. They often say that bad thinking is no better than sleeping. If you think about it a bit, all this about the umbrella is a trivial problem. Why is that? Couldn't Maria-chan have been brought by Nissan the Lion, see something that made it seem like father was in good health? There's no evidence that father actually handed the umbrella to her. Regardless of whom Maria-chan received the umbrella from, assuming she was even given an umbrella in the first place, father will appear very soon. Once father's informed us, the problem with the umbrella will become completely trivial. In other words, this is not the time to gossip about the umbrella issue. What do you mean this isn't the time? I see, I've got it. This is probably what Kari-san's saying. Father is supposed to come here very soon, but the chance still remains that he'll get mad again and won't show up, right? I see, that's true. Maybe Nissan just said father was going to appear to Random in a desperate bid to buy time against our investigation. Father really is dead already, and Nissan is still lying and saying he's healthy. In short, father appears and no schemes will be effective. There's no need to even think about that case. We're fishing on the chopping board. We had no choice but to leave fate and they having to negotiate directly with father. That means we have no choice but to let him clobber us with his fist and prostrate ourselves and beg for money. But on the other hand, if father doesn't appear, then our primary strategy isn't hampered in the least. I see, in short, no matter which way it goes, there's absolutely no need to get flustered now. I say if father shows up, we just have to carry out the normal family conference. If he doesn't, we just have to keep on investigating cross-sign. We can't let him talk his way out of it, like if he says father's going to have suddenly gotten worse. It seems that we really should be trying to figure out what his scheme these signs are going to try and trick us with. The way he just said he doesn't know how to give up is he does not know better than anyone. If father is well, we'll prostrate ourselves to beg for money. If it's as far as of cross-signs, then we'll continue our ugly sibling fight. It sounds like this year's family conference is going to be just wonderful. Yep, so bad that game is no better than sleeping, huh? It's almost 22 p.m. Should we press any key? Rudolph and then rest looked across. He was sitting down firmly and looked like he was awaiting Kunzel's arrival with an air of composure. They couldn't tell if he really was composed or if he was scheming about how to tie together his lie. Dear, calm yourself. We won't get anywhere by making a fuss after all this. Let's leave it to Genji-san. It's almost 10 o'clock, isn't it? Or that was the time that had been set for tonight's family conference to open, and it was the time that Ushiramiya family had needed to appear. Rather than they heard a sound of footsteps approaching from the hall, there were multiple sets. Natsuhi raised her head, relieved. But because of the sound of a knock, her expression was filled with disappointment because Ginzo probably wouldn't have knocked. Please excuse us. I had finished closing up the mansion for the night. It was Goda and Kumasawa. Unlike the powerful Goda, it was rare for Kumasawa with her old body to be forced to work this late. Of course, Cross also seemed to know that. Indeed, good work. My apologies for making you work at such a time, Kumasawa saw. Oh, it's nothing. I may not look it, but staying up late is still one of my specialties. Ho 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 ho. Wouldn't it be okay to at least let Kumasawa leave without being an observer? It will be difficult on her body, I imagined. The order was to gather all the servants as well. I cannot disobey. Tonight's family conference was clearly different from normal. On a normal year, no one was allowed to attend except family members. To have the servants present for such a thing was unthinkable. But this year was different. All the servants were told to attend. Of course, they were not allowed to talk. They were there as observers. Just what in the world was happening that needed to be observed by 5 servants? Even Cross didn't know. Oh, I don't look, but I'm good at staying up late. If you stuff yourself with mackerel too, Cross, somehow you'll be more manly at night. See, you're still in high spirits. I'm sure you'll be working in such high spirits until you're 100. Madame, forgive my arrogance, but I have prepared a light snack. I can serve it any time, so feel free to order it. Thank you. You really are considerate. Please offer refills of coffee to the others. Certainly. After nodding, Goda took the pot towards the relatives gathered at the other end of the table. As he did, more footsteps approached from the hallway. It was a single set, and it was light. Even before the knock, they could imagine who it was. Excuse me, I've taken the children to the guest house. Good work. Tonight is a special evening. Make sure you stay alert. Yes, certainly, madame. Genji had gone with Kennen to meet Kinzo. There was still no sign of their return. In the hand of the clock past 22 o'clock slightly. Once sure of that, Eva spoke to Cross. Nissan, it's time. Are you still not going to start the family conference? The arrival of the guest of honor has been delayed with a short while. How long, sir? But time's up. I won't have you saying Father hasn't shown up yet over and over until dawn. How could I make a promise about the time Father shows up? Why are you in such a rush? Why not drink some tea and calm down for now? And Nikki, we're gathered here for a family conference, not a farce. We'll wait 30 more minutes, but if that doesn't work, you'll let us break into the study, okay? But break into such an action would be quite lacking in respect for the head. All right, our apologies. We'll be good for 30 more minutes. I look forward to seeing if you can keep that same smile up 30 minutes from now. So you honestly believe that Father is dead? I have no desire to discuss that now. We can wait until Father comes here. There's absolutely no need for me to argue you down, Isan. The Ushiramiya headship will be passed on to the proper person in the proper manner. No matter what you may scheme, you cannot resist. Of course, the same goes for me. What are you trying to say? And after bragging all those years about being the successor yourself, I'll turn you in your own words back on you. I have no desire to discuss that now. All that matters is for Father to come here and proclaim it with his own mouth. There's absolutely no need for me to argue you down, right? Crest carefully turned Eva's words back on her. Of course, that added oil to Eva's anger, but it did ignite because in the instant the sound of a very loud knock rang out. Can it be? Both Angie and Kennen were usually very reserved when they knocked, but they wouldn't hit the door with such a violent strength. It was like a judge's gravel slamming down in the call for silence, so everyone went quiet. The door opened slightly and Genji showed himself, and he spoke with a serious tone different from his usual one. It wasn't the tone he used when carrying out his duties, it was the tone he used when speaking for Kinzo himself. Just by hearing Genji speak like that, the civilians were struck with a sudden tension. Take your seats, everyone. At those words, the dining hall was wrapped in total silence, and everyone hurriedly returned to their designated seats. It was as though students who had been bustling around just before homeroom suddenly returned to their seats, and the teacher came, and it might have even looked humorous. But there's no way anyone would joke about it. Everyone sat in order, and Shinen, Goda, and Kumasawa stood up straight in a row by the wall. The head of the glorious Ushiramiya family and Lord of Rokujima, the island that sparkles gold. Lord Ushiramiya Kinzo has arrived. At the double doors that led down to the dining hall, Genji opened the right door from the inside, and Kennen opened the left door from the outside. Alright. Come on, Kenzo, be alive. Ah, there he is. And welcome by a respectful bow from those two, majestically fluttering his cape. Kenzo appeared. Kenzo's gait had a dignified weight to it, and it was hard to believe that he had reportedly been at the end of his life. Genji pulled back Kenzo's seat and motioned for him to sit. But Kenzo stayed standing, signaling with his chant for Genji to move back. Welcome to Rokenjima, ladies and gentlemen. Why the frightened face, Eva? No, why would I be frightened? I'm just relieved to find you excellent spirits, Father. Eva, you're as amusing as ever, aren't you? Why don't you just honestly say how frustrated you are at losing your bet with Cross? You can't say it, can you? Have you ever realized that their conversation during the day had indeed been leaked to Kenzo as she hung her head, turning her head? Well, then, my sons and daughters and their companions and I shall make an important announcement regarding my inheritance and the succession that you all seem so keen on. But first, I must tell you how incredibly disappointed I am. After all, until this very day, no one has been able to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Even though Kenzo said he was disappointed, a condescending smile rose to his face as though there was no way the likes of these could solve it. His gaze passed through all of them. I had planned to hand over everything to the one who could solve it, but none have been able to solve it before today, and here we stand with nothing in mind passed on to anyone. How shameful to think that none one among you has come forward with the qualifications to succeed me. How truly disappointing and shameful and pathetic. The siblings hung their heads in silence. Of course they would have solved it if they could. True, they couldn't deny that they'd wasted a golden opportunity, but it was just so hard. Therefore, I am proclaiming here now that I will suspend the use of the epitaph's riddle as a method of choosing my successor. In short, time's up. This game is over, and what a shame for you all. Even though it should have been given you all an equal, fair chance, that's gone now. It truly sounded like Kenzo's making a victory proclamation. In that case, with my oldest son cross to see the headship, the answer is no. What? You understand, right, Cross? I certainly gave you the title of the successor, but all you did was let it go to your head. Do you know what a successor is? It means the person who will inherit your position after you. Father. Wrong. The position of the successor is something that's guaranteed by the current head at all. Listen, Cross, I won't tell you this again. A successor is what you call someone who finds everyone else who's after the headship thoroughly breaks their noses and makes it so they can never disobey him again. This is not only something that can be said of the headship, it's the same with the money. A rich person doesn't mean someone who has money. It means someone who crushes everyone who had more money than himself and who scrabbles together more money than anyone else. It's a shame. Same with talent. A genius is not what you call a person blessed with talent. It means a person who crushes everyone with more talent than themselves. A person who can coerce geniuses and all other people to call him that using strength and charisma. You have a mistaken impression when it comes to all of these things. So you aren't of the right caliber to be my successor. I'll take your words to heart. Perhaps that truly was Kenzo's philosophy. As a result, faithfully carrying out that rant-like philosophy of his, Kenzo was glorified the Ushiramiya family to state it was in today, and it would be hard to imagine after his immersion in the cult in recent years. But that brutality, overbearing outlook was no more or less Ushiramiya Kenzo's charisma and aura. Such an unsatisfactory person is not qualified to inherit everything of the Ushiramiya family. In that case, is Eva, Rudolph, or Rosa qualified? Again, no. You were unable to solve the riddle, and you were also unable to use a scheme to jot Cross down. All the three of you managed to do was to gather together and unite up front to try and extort money from Cross, and even that scheme was spotless. You can't even corner Cross all by himself. There could be nothing more shameful. You lacked the avarice to steal away the position of the successor by any means. In order to get what you want, you should sacrifice everything, becoming as covetous and greedy as possible. The goddess of the luck smiles upon the greedy. We three who don't have that wild spirit are as unfit for the succession as Cross is. Ava and the rest had no words to respond with, and they couldn't calculate what it was Kenzo was about to say. Was Kenzo actually planning to proclaim that no one would succeed the headship? If so, that would work to Eva, Rosa, and Rudolph's advantage. After all, in the end, they just want to renegotiate everything among the siblings after Kenzo's death, splitting the inheritance evenly. It would surely be more troublesome if a specific person's name was raised and proclaimed to be the successor, though it Kenzo really ceased to benefit any of the four siblings after demeaning them so much. You don't think he's going to say that because no one will succeed him. He'll donate all of his fortune as charity or something, right? I'm afraid I wouldn't put it past Father. The blood's just racing to his head. We can't do anything but let him talk for now. Well then, Father, what thoughts do you have regarding the succession of the headship? Since I'm utterly disappointed in all of you, I've lost a desire to hand it over to anyone. Therefore, the Ushirimiya family will end here. It ends with my generation. That cannot. The Ushirimiya family was crushed long ago in that earthquake. The current Ushirimiya family is nothing but an illusion of gold I'm glimpsing for an instant, the likes of which will end when I'm awakened from my slumber. Everything in this world is a dream, an illusion. Life is but a daydream before the awakening called death. Ah, yes. That's how it was from the beginning, that I should lose everything when I die. It was a part of Beatrice's contract and her curse. As if I let you, Beatrice, I will be the one who captures you. Tonight that goal will be realized. Yeah. For a while, Kenzo was overcome with cackling and his eyes bulged. Whenever he talked about Beatrice, it was always both eloquent and insane. Foolish children such as yourself truly are daydreams, as though you were never there from the beginning. Disappear, wake up, disappear from the doze of the truth that I am. You failures to have not built up anything that makes you worthy to succeed me. Kenzo-san, if I may, what is it, my friend? Naja nervously raised his hand, asking to speak. Kenzo allowed him to. I understand how you feel, Kenzo-san, because you love your children. You expect a lot of them. As a parent, grandparent myself, I understand how parental affection can make you feel as though your expectations were betrayed. However, you are extraordinary, Kenzo-san, a genius. Is it saying that it's only natural for them to catch up to you a little too harsh? Despite that, Cross-san, Eva-san, Rito-san, Rosa-san, and all of their partners have done their very best to catch up with you. Ho-ho, and just how much money have they built up to doing their best? After these cowards fell completely in ventures and gained debt and so tried to sponge off me, how can you say that they did their very best? Money is the crystallization of everything in this world. If you cannot grasp that, then you cannot grasp the world. If life cannot strangely grasp this world, it doesn't deserve to live. Disappear from my life and reality. That's a reckless argument. With that logic, even I must not live. Even so, I believe the time I spent playing chess with you was worthwhile for both of us, Kenzo-san. You should know better than anyone else that there are many things in this world that cannot be bought with money. As the siblings emotionally hung their heads, they cheered Nenjo on inside their hearts. None of the siblings could offer their opinion in front of Kenzo in a rage, but Kenzo's close friend Nenjo alone was allowed to. Even though Kenzo had raged so fiercely after being admonished by Nenjo, he nodded several times as though in agreement. The surprisingly obedient side of him might have seemed cute, but there was no one here who could laugh. It may be true that your children have built up as great fortune as you have, Kenzo-san, though even though they're rich enough to make me jealous. But besides money, they have built up many things that cannot be bought with money. When it comes to that, there is no way inferior to you, Kenzo-san. Oh, and what do you claim they have built up with that cannot be bought with money? Happiness, family. They have found wonderful partners that have children, and each has built up their own happy homes. They have glorified your family name and have brought back grandchildren. Grandchildren are wonderful. We older people can look at these young grandchildren who will live on into a new era that will not even be given a chance to see. And in them, we can imagine an endless future. Is it that the sole entertainment we have in our old age? Remember, Kenzo-san, remember your joy when you first brought back the grandchildren. Your children and your grandchildren will carry your great work on to future generations, setting an example. That is something that an individual cannot accomplish no matter how much money they have. This was all not an agreement. Certainly Kenzo had looked happy when his grandchildren had just been born, back when he still had some sanity in his heart. However, did Kenzo's heart still contain human's warmth? In other words, in exchange for the vast riches I created, instead of gaining money, I have gained my grandchildren? No, that's not what So in exchange for several tens of billions in wealth I have built up, I have gained a single grandchild from each of my children. This is wonderful. So I've created a single life using 10 billion yen. That's how it is. Interesting. Truly an interesting example in the alchemical sense, right? Oh, what a valuable grandchildren. Wonderful, wonderful. Is that right, Cross? Is your daughter worth 10 billion yen? Cross couldn't answer instantly. It wasn't that he didn't have confidence in his daughter. It was because he didn't have a clue what Kenzo was trying to test within his question. But naturally, with his pressed for an answer, she responded, breaking Cross is silent with an answer of her own interpretation. Yes, just because her daughter I wouldn't let go of even for 10 billion yen. In essence, I believe she has an ability that can be measured with money. Oh, so you can say for certain that she's worth 10 billion. Oh. What about you, Eva? What about your George? Since I understood you had answered that way, Eva naturally came with her own answer as well. Even though Eva should have known better than to respond to a provocative question like this, she answered as well. Yes, Father, George is worth 10 billion. No, even more than that. And that's not even an abstract sense of things money can't buy. George will certainly build up a fortune equal to his worth. He'll become a grandson worthy of carrying on your great works, Father. Eva sent a glance at Hideyoshi, and asked if she scored a point. Which you heard what Eva said. That's he was about to add more praise for her daughter, but stopped to declare from the cross. I see. Then what about you, Rudolph? What about your battler? Compared to George Conner, there's nothing about battler I can brag about. If he was kidnapped and we were threatened with a ransom of 10 billion, I feel like sticking a bow in the guy and letting them have him. He, on top of that, he's an idiot and reckless. He talks about grand dreams of things that couldn't be done. I guess in a way, he's a superior idiot with the equivalent of 10 billion normal idiots. But I'm sure that guy could do things that even a group of 10 billion average people couldn't do. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll fall flat on his face. The world isn't easy. But at the very least, there's no doubt that watching over his life will be more fun than looking at 10 billion average people even click their tongue with that clever style of speech, which would probably match Kinsel's taste. Apparently, Rudolph had done that on purpose, so he grinned back at her. What if Mariah's my adorable and only daughter. Her value cannot be measured with money. That is all. I see. Dreams of future miracles and possibilities are the source of my magical power. No magic without hopes hold any strength. Hey, I cannot expect any more from you who have proven to be average, but I see my grandchildren hope future possibilities and expecting a magical miracle from them may be worthwhile. If you're saying that in this way, they are more worth it than 10 billion. Yes, I can see where you're coming from. When Kenzo got in a range, he wouldn't let anyone speak up. But even so, he would sometimes accept something on his own while yelling by himself and could change his own opinion. That's what this felt like his siblings. Apparently, even though Kenzo had been disgusted by his unsuccessful children and had cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of the title over his first fortune, he wasn't sure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say that the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of siblings. As the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father might suddenly think of next, they carefully watched his every move. Let me change my thinking a little. I have absolutely no desire to hand over all I have to any of you. However, it will be quite interesting to question the grandchildren to see if one of them is qualified. I've always thought of them as mere kids, but there's a chance I'll find a shining gem among them that will catch me off guard. I tested them for what that would be. Yes, it would be a shame to abandon that final side trip of my remaining life. Well then, what shall I do? I could with confidence recommend George as someone fitting to follow after you even claim that right away. And as she looked as she was about to follow along, but Cross gave her a looking to restrain herself, so she swallowed her words. How bold. Then let us do this. I will eventually question the grandchildren to see if they are qualified to succeed. They share me a family inheritance and wealth. Father, however, that does not mean that one of you will undoubtedly receive the inheritance. I'm already disappointed in not you all. There's no longer anything I have to give you. Not a thing. The ones I will question are my grandchildren, and the ones who must succeed me are my grandchildren. Make absolutely sure that you do not mistake this. Understood? I shall obey Father's decision. Same here. I'll go along with what he decides. What about you, Aniki? Of course, I believe Father will make a wise judgment. I will also obey Father's decision. I shall think of how to test my grandchildren, which means this is no longer any business of yours. After all, none of you are involved in this discussion anyway now. So right here, right now, perhaps we should discuss a different matter that doesn't involve you. A different matter? Indeed, that's tonight's true purpose. The true purpose for the final Ishimi family conference as well. I have no desire to hear your thoughts and opinions. I demand only your assistance to my ceremony. Your ceremony? Quiet, Father's talking right now. Rudolph and the rest automatically narrowed their brows at the occult-like word. Could he be planning to start some strange ceremony involving Beatrice's resurrection again? And he wanted their assistance. What in the world was he planning to? In the past, he had carried out many eccentricities that he called by the same names, such as starting to burn a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with a stench. To the siblings, the ceremony was nothing more than one of the aged Kinsel's obnoxious hobbies. Father, just what do you mean by that? If we can assist you, we'll do anything, right, Rosa? Yes, but when in the world is it? A ceremony, as described in my epitaph, a ceremony to revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land, and that which you escaped our cage of flesh and sneeringly slipped through my fingers, I shall now capture. A force into summation of my greatest sin and art. For that person, I must offer 13 people as sacrifices. Gathering 13 people's worth of sacrifices is no easy feat. But tonight is the family conference. Many adults have gathered on the Rokkenjima. There could be no other day on which to carry out this ceremony. Taken literally, it sounded like he was telling them to become human sacrifices for his dark ceremony and die. Ridiculous. Was it some kind of metaphor? But they didn't even have a clue what he was trying to illustrate. The siblings whispered together about what Kenzo was saying. What's Dad going on about? Is this his usual sickness? Probably. Listen silently for now. I'm sorry, Father. I don't understand what you mean by that. What is it you don't understand? I am making this extremely simple. I told you that I'll choose 13 of the humans on this island and offer them as sacrifices in the ceremony to revive Beatrice. Even worthless people like you can be very useful as sacrifices in my ceremony. Listen, This is not a joke or nor anything of the sort. This is my final bet, my final ceremony, the last one will desire my life. There are now more than 30 people on this island, and in short, there's a head count that can easily satisfy the massive number of sacrifices I require. I become the become the sacrifices for my ceremony. Kenzo-san, you weren't serious about what you said back then, were you? It wasn't a joke. Unusually for him, Dr. Nejo's changed color as he stood up and shuddered. It seemed that this was the first time Nejo had heard all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices. Sorry, my friend, that was no joke nor anything of the sort. It was what I bet my life on, my final ceremony, the final game I will attempt. Yes, this is a game. If gaining my fortune and leaving the island is your goal, then there are only two ways to achieve it. Will you escape being chosen as one of the 13 sacrifices and spectacularly survive by solving the riddle of the epitaph and stopping the ceremony? Or will you kill me and thereby stop the ceremony? And those are the only two options. By now, the one was just whispering, but that shuddering muttering away. But even the siblings and Melissa Kenzo was beginning to act abnormally. Father, are you a little tired? Because you sometimes father been drinking. No, the master is sensible. Sorry, Dad, I do not have a clue what you're talking about. Dad's free to start up any weird ceremony he wants to revive the witch he loves. That's his hobby, but getting wrapped up in that, being made into human sacrifices, is a little more than I can handle. Rudolph, are you trying to interrupt Father? What are you talking about, Anarchy? You expect me to listen to something that's shady and say, oh, really? Was it the ceremony Kinzo mentioned literally something disturbing, or was it some kind of test to choose a successor? It seemed that Rudolph had taken it literally, but Eva apparently still believed that it was something like a test or examination to find a proper successor. But Ginzo responded with a clear smile. Well then, this is all I have to say. No objections or opinions are necessary from you. I will simply wake up from my dream of having 4 unsuccessful children. To all of you, that will occur now before your very eyes would seem like a dream, an illusion, something that couldn't be conceivable but of this world, and in a world that defies understanding. But that itself is my reality now. I'll finally awaken from the shadow unless the dream that all of you are. Come, the game has already begun. See, with this many of you here, I could take lives starting with anyone. So long, my unsuccessful children, and for the final and only time of your lives, be useful for my ceremony. Arise, Pendragon's memorial troops. When Gilza raised his arms high like an opera singer and yelled as though towards a packed audience. The air shuddered like glass, and the outlines of 3 people who supposedly hadn't been invited to this island appeared. Chester 45 right here. Chester 410 right here. Hey, a new one. Alright, Chester 0 right here. 3 girls with strange forms suddenly appeared behind Kenzo. Where from? When? Who were they? The humans were thrown off balance and their minds went blank because they spent all that time thinking they lost their last chance to survive. You have permission to shoot 6 to death. I leave the choice of targets up to you. Begin your attack. Unrestricted firing understood, sir. Thank you for granting us such excellent targets. Everyone commands unrestricted firing. Nihi, first one in, yeah. Ha ha ha. When 14 scratched the air with her finger, a golden bow appeared in empty space as she pulled the string. The golden arrow that had been ready there was fired off without any hesitation. It flew around the room, leaving haphazard gold curves everywhere, and the clue chose Natsuhi from among those sitting at the table of the friendly conference, pulverizing the left half of her face. Damn. Flesh and deep red blood scattered around, leaving massive red spatter marks on the relatives' faces and pure white tablecloth. Silence fell, despite the massive number of deep red spots left on the tablecloth. No one could understand why Natsu's head was flat, as half smashed, nor why she was hanging her head as though dozing while still sitting. And they watched on silence. Those that had sitting on Natsu's right-hand side were silent for a relatively long time, but both those sitting to her left were not, because the people sitting on the left side had been shown her head and been smashed open like a watermelon or a pomegranate. I could even see inside her. Natsuhi, one down. Natsuhi is a luckless woman to the end. Next. 0 firing. After scratching the empty air in the same way and readying her bow, 0 fired as well. After it flew around at high speeds like the golden arrow, 410 released, drawing a convoluted curve in the same manner. It smashed half of the Rudolph's head in the same way as he looked at Natsuhi in shock, killing him instantly. This time everyone managed to avoid freezing up until they realized that a fearsome murder had started playing out in front of them, just as the Kinzo had said. They realized the kids would probably kill them even more. Wah, kia, shrill screams burst out. Even so, they didn't know what to do, so they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide open mouths like goldfish. Father, what do you think you're doing? You fool, run now. As Eva asked Kenzo in total shock, Hiroshi came to his senses faster than anyone else had risen to his feet, pulled at her arm from behind. However, mercilessly fate chose for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Just like the two before them, half of Hideyoshi's head was neatly smashed, and the right side of his face, which had happened to be facing that direction at the time, had been blown away with its contents exposed like watermelon or pomegranate. So still holding Eva, Hideyoshi slumped backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Eva fell over backwards with them. Dear, eek! Eva screamed. It was only natural. The face that she'd been looking for had been half lost, and crushed skull, the mashed brains, and the crushed jaw all lay bare. 45 impact, it's a hit. Spectacular, fire again. 3 more remain. Father, what is this supposed to be? When Cross stood up forcefully, he was about to rush Kenzo. Zero blocked him. With her slender-looking body, she held back Cross with just palm of her right hand. He still tried to resist and attack Kenzo, so Zero lifted Cross up by the nape of the neck and twisted him into Adam's apple with her thumb. It seemed to be very painful. Cross was overcome with agony. Oh, everyone run! Get the police, an ambulance, quickly! Everyone, let's escape, escape! And just sharp words finally dissolved the spell that had been holding them down in their chairs. When Gordon and Kuma saw each tried to escape from the dine hall first. 410 moved in an instant and appeared there, blocking the way. Nihi, you sure are slow, Nia. Did you think I'd let you escape, Nia? Hee, help me! Goda-san ducked, even though Goda didn't understand. He crossed when he heard Kari's sharp voice, and that burst of air rushed above his head. Kari had taken a big swing with the chair to mow 410 down. But 410 was still with a mocking expression, easily caught that widely swung chair with a single hand. What a scary woman, yeah. You really want to go to the same way as your husband that much? With the cuff of her arm where she had caught the chair, something like a shining gold snake appeared, wrapped itself around the chair and burst open. It was a fearsome power like a vice. And Kavi realized that being in front of her was like a girl was actually something that surpassed human knowledge, and that a human could not even begin to oppose. Her head filled with the fierce alarm bell that welled up from her deep inside her. Genji, Shannon, and Ken and all the servants permitted the weather one-winged eagle continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, even in a scene like this before their eyes, making them look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kari thought they had managed to stay calm because they were with the enemy, and had been given a guarantee that they wouldn't be killed. But as soon as she thought that, the sight of Genji's face was blown away before her eyes. Genji-san. 45 impact is a hit. Oh, Genji, how unfortunate. Rest in peace, my friend. Yeah, your death will not be wasted. You will become one of the 13 keys essential to the resurrection of my beloved witch. The half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. He tilted, fell over, and sent the blood red splatter out across the floor. Genji-sama, we're nothing more than the witch's pieces. Nothing more. Nothing more. From the meek and frustrated, no resigned expression on Shen and Ken's face, one couldn't sense any naive hopes that they'd be rescued. That's right, Kenzo was in the truest sense carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed. Well then, who will go for next? Yeah, he. 410 looked at Kari for a second. In that second, Kari was prepared for her own death. But when she raised her golden ball in midair, 410 looked at someone was looking at someone else over Kari's shoulder. So as unprudent as it was, Kari felt as though she had been saved. Again, an ugly exploding popping sound rang throughout the room. Who was it this time? And Kari turned to face the direction of the sound. She saw blood gushing like a fountain and Eva lying on her husband's chest. Of course, her face half smashed, just like her husband's. 410 mercilessly targeted Eva as she clawed into her husband's corpse, sobbing. Let go of me, son. Let go of me, son. Just stop it, father. Just stop this brutality. Run away, Rosa. Yeah. Rosa's rejection didn't reach Kittens as he continued to laugh loudly, and the blood splattered dining hall as she was unable to listen to Cross's pain at being lifted up by the nape of the neck by Zero. So Rosa had no choice but to use force. She lifted up a chair beside her and gave a warning. Father, in order to let go of me, son, just stop them from doing this. I cannot, if that is what you desire, to prevent it using your own power. Cut a path through to your own fate with your own hands. You who always hid behind the backs of others in fear, let me see where you have overcome your weakness and one last time in your life. Father. Ah! The chair that Rosa lifted up swung down at the father who had reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-control in Rosa's life. What Kinsey said might have been true. If she had grasped that courage sooner, her life might have become more free and restrained by anyone else. Then there was a bursting sound, the sound of Rosa's chair forcefully hitting Kinzo could not have been this. With the chair lifted up, she nearly lost half of her head and slumped over. Still holding crossed up with one hand, Zero stuck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden snake released from that arm and had constricted Rosa in a helix and had smashed her into her head. The fits of fire, and I apologize for the discourtesy. Yes, shootings deal close to you, sir. I care not, and so this makes 6 people. Yes, Lord Goldsmith, this makes 6 people. Wouldn't she indifferently communicate that Zero let go of Cross, whom she'd been lifting up this whole time? Indeed, so the sacrifices of the first twilight were Eva, Rudolph, Rosa, Natsuya, Hideyoshi, and Genji. Yeah. It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall had been dirtied by the blood spatter, and the 6 unlikely victims lay with their heads brutally exposed. In that way, they was fitting for the normal space. Genji's abnormal laugh alone echoed out. The curtain has finally risen. The ceremony to revive Beatrice has begun. You lucky ones who have managed to escape the first twilight. Allow me to introduce you to my friends. Arise, my friend, Ronov. Ooh, he's friends with Ronov, too. When Kinzo called Ronov's name, the demon butler showed himself and made her bowing respectfully. Pleased to meet you, everyone, and good day to those of you I haven't seen for a long time. Pukuku. It seems this place is once again spectacularly untidy. Pay it no mind. It takes a stimulant of this level to wake me from my daydream-like days. Allow me to introduce my friend and reliable butler, one of the 72 great demons, Ronov. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. Just who was he was making that introduction to? Cross Sakari, who were still down on their backsides, and Nacho Goto and Kumasawa could only look up at as the middle-aged gentleman they didn't know in shock. Okay, so it's Cross, Kairi, and Nacho Goto and Kumasawa who are still alive. Okay, what about Shannon and Cannon? Are they still alive? Who knows? Only Shannon and Cannon. Okay, there we go. Seemed to recognize it when they bowed deeply. So I wasn't able to greet Genji. I hope he was at least able to fulfill his purpose painlessly. It was an instant death from a direct hit to the head. He didn't have time to feel the pain. Is that so? Very well. Allow me to introduce another friend. Arise, my friend, Virgilia. Once again, a silhouette of someone the relatives didn't know appeared from the empty space. She appeared in a refined dress, all making an elegant greeting. How long have I been doing this for? 43 minutes. Woo-wee. And then again, I was doing test recordings, so I'll make sure my audio wasn't corrupted. So, yeah, okay, about 40 minutes probably. Damn. Thank you for summoning me, Master. Although I would rather not be summoned to a facility place such as this. I'm going to introduce her too. This is both my friend and reliable counselor, Virgilia. I desire to borrow your great powers, which have lend it to me. Even if I tried to refuse such a thing, wouldn't it be permitted for one so ordinated by the power of your summonings? As you wish, Master. Still with a fearsome fellow, I think you summoned through this treacherous sister corpse, than me and even Virgilia, even though it's only in the area of summoning to think that he surprises my lady so thoroughly. How frightening. I can't help but shudder at the issuing of blood. In order to carry out Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, I shall give it all my all as a summoner. This still isn't enough. In order to perfectly succeed in the ceremony this time, I shall summon more. The Pentagon Memorial troops and Ronov and Virgilia can still call more with my magical power. I can still call many more. Answer to my summons, one of the 72 demons, Gap? You can't even materialize her? It probably means that the Kuroshi has advanced even more in the silent and had already proceeded far enough to materialize us. By now we shouldn't be surprised no matter how great a demon he summons. Has Rokenshimari been completely subject to a parallel world, and I hope he does not surrender. He learned a lot last time, correct? After all this time he won't surrender over this much. Probably, I should say, Pukuku. Well then, shall we enjoy the stage and now stand upon? It seems the main character is a master this time. Let us expect a script of different flavor than my ladies. When Ginzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light gathered in empty air twisted, and magic circles drawn there with a deep red glow. And with a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there. You did well to answer my call, Gap, one of the 72 great demons. This is one hell of a place you summoned me to. Did you call me to clean up this blood-stained room? Goldsmith? The literally devilish woman wrapped in venomous, ominous costume looked at this scene, which should have made her eyes cover and twisted her mouth and grin. To summon you for such a reason would be like using a cashmere muffler to mop the floor. It's been a long time, Gap, to think that a great demon such as yourself has finally appeared in this island. Perhaps this island is finally submerging completely into fantasy. This all-star cast is even more surprising than the gruesome state of the room. A full 3 Chester sisters, the great demon Ronov and the great witch Virgilia, and even me. What's going on? Is this pandemonium? Are you trying to start a concert from hell or something? I see as a conductor for that, I couldn't think of anyone better than you, Goldsmith. I will have your assistance as a facilitator in the completion of the ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. You have no objections to my summoning contract, correct? Of course not. There's no way I could resist their subordinate power, the legendary great summoner Lord Goldsmith, who forced the famous great witch Beatrice to do his bidding. I'll assist you, although I will, of course, ask a fitting price. So, what's my first job? Capture the cowards who made it through their first twilight. Fortunately, there are still 7 here, aren't there? Nanjo, Shannon, Cannon, Goda, Kumasara, Crowley, and Cross. Oh, if these 7 are all offered sacrifices, that's exactly 13 people. Until it's time for the second and third twilight to be carried out, though, I mean, the cage of sacrifices. Yeah. A cashmere mop, huh? Understood. As Gab shrugged her shoulders, she looked at Cross, who was still down on his butt. She glared. Then she snapped her fingers. Cross was swallowed up on the floor as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath them. Wah! One down, there was no hole in the floor, but it certainly looked as though Cross had been swallowed up by a hole and disappeared. Searching for her next prey, Gab gazed across Kyrie's. She snapped her fingers. Kyrie jumped back as though she repelled her instinct had been her eye. After all, in the place where she'd been, about a second ago, a round jet black hole had been appeared in the same kind that swallowed up Cross. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Even Kyrie had no way of eluding Gab's capture. Wow! When she snapped her fingers again, shocked Nanjo was swallowed up by the floor and disappeared. When she did it again, 14 yellow let out a short yell jumped back. This time, slightly larger pitfall opened, swallowing both Shannon and Cannon, who had been standing in the line by the door. But because 14 had jumped back away from the door, there was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware that he would be next, Goda dashed out through that door. Of course, Kumasora also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. As Gab snapped their fingers over and over, round jet black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive that recklessly fleeing pair away and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasora escaped in a matter of seconds. I've gotten slow. I've let 2 get away. Don't worry, we quicker and locking onto the escaping targets. Data link ready needs. Shall we snipe? No, I cannot authorize that. They are precious sacrifices. Wait for the Master's authorization. Great Lord Smith, we've waited your orders. It's still too soon for the coming of the second twilight is what the source of my magical power is whispering to me. It must not be now. Let them do as they please. It is as though they can escape from this island. The source of the Master's magical power is noise and risk of test of luck. However, in other words, it means being fickle, it would seem. But perhaps you could put it that way. Good work, Gap. Let us steadily advance the ceremony from here on. Well, then, as that, next to my grandchildren, I will test them to see whether they are qualified to become my successor. Let's see how shall I test their qualifications. If you decide that they're qualified, do you intend to bend Beato's resurrection? Of course, and despite that, I will test them. Perhaps a woman cannot understand the contradiction nor my manners. Yeah. Well, apparently men are as weird as ever. I don't get the very concept of playing around with risk. Oh, mine, I thought you loved that sort of thing. Of course, if a man whispers something about dangerous risk and love, I go head over heels. If only if he's hot. Be quiet. Try to refrain from whispering. Truly noisy women, but at least they aren't boring. This is what makes my summoning so pleasant. All of you will bear one side of the scales of noise and risk my ceremony. That is work I expect of you. 6 brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red, gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that, until a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kings will line up the famous demons, and their subordinates cloudly declared at the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders that swarmed to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land. Sorry to keep you waiting. Now the curtain finally rose on the first twilight. Yeah. That Kansas was seedless, flashing as usual, but even that man who could be more persistent than anything when he follows you around can shine so when he's on the stage. They am always killing in a grotesque way as usual, smashing half their heads. The bad taste you witches of demons I have always pisses me off. Smashing half their heads, I see, so she's realized that in the games up until now that's been the most ideal method of killing. Ideal has such a gross take way of killing ideal. Isn't it, though? Try to remember the very first game. So you're that new demon or whatever that just appeared. Damn, so this means that the witch's corrosion continues there, and now even more creeps wandering around. The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokujima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange and same people keep appearing one by the one. This island has been closed out by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, and much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more the corrosion advances, the more witches the demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now there must be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yes, I'm sure that's true. And that corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. If the corrosion advances any farther and even more weirder people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary I can't imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore. I can't do that. They'll keep increasing more and more. I'll defy the foolish closed circle real humans speak of over and over again. I welcome to my elegant game, Gap. It's been a long time. Ricky. I must say Reach. I must say Reach. I don't know how you say it or not, but Reach. That's how I'm going to say it. Have you been well? Why do I ask? You look great. Have you gotten younger? You look 200 or 300 years younger than when I last saw you. I see. The demon grandfather is someone who introduces Gap, took a glance at me, and then grinned as though she figured something out on her own. Her smile felt openly obscene. I guess she's Beato's friend, which means she got to be a creep among creeps. By the way, there were things about a closed circle or whatever. What does that mean? Serial murder mystery novels that occur in places isolated from the outside world, like Kojima's now, are sometimes called closed circles. Since such a place is isolated from the outside, it's like a circle that's closed. Therefore, in general, the characters and suspects are limited in number. Having new suspect candidates added on one after another from the outside of the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels. In other words, the witch is probably trying to discredit humans in the mystery genre itself. You're Gretel? I see, you look like a wise kid. I love kids like you. You taste so sweet and tantalizing. Gross. Keep the joke to your clothing. It's devilish pretty's newest Jack the Ripper Christmas blood. Sorry for having a style that country bumpkin from the human world couldn't understand, okay? At least we know it's well ventilated. Why don't you got a gap to the head part as well? Let a little air into your brain. Gap is always sensitive to the fashions of the spirit world, but this year's trad truly is bold. I think I'll order one sometime. For you, Reach. I come in, Allie Gray, Alice in the Graveyard. Let's go to the 666 sometime soon to look at clothes. You really should jump by the spirit world every now and then. When this game is over, I'll be sure to do that. Yeah. So your two opponents are pretty cute, Reach. Well, it looks like this kid has figured out the meaning of the corpses with their heads half smashed. You know what that is, girl? Just thought she told me to remember the first game. What did that mean? Just what it sounds like. Remember the first game, Twilight. The first Twilight of very first game. When your dove's corpses are found in the guardian's shed with the magic circle drawn on them, remember? Yeah, half their faces were, stabbed or something. Episode 1, the first Twilight, Cross, Rudolph, Kari, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died. At the time, there were 2 types of corpses. Some had their faces pulverized, and some had half of their faces pulverized. That's right, the ones with their faces smashed were Rudolph, Kari, Rosa, and Goda. The ones with the side of their heads smashed were Cross and Shannon. At the time, I phylically created 2 types of corpses, but I realized that the former, more atrocious type was actually disadvantaged for me. Disadvantages for you. I see, so that's what this is. That's right, the smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at the time, Grunku, Cross, and Shannon had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But Dad's and the other 3 were different. Because his face had been completely destroyed, even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like, and so it remained vague until the end whether that had really been Dad's corpse. And if for this reason battle had been taken during the first game as well, I would probably have claimed that since the identities of Dad and the rest of the bodies were impossible to confirm, there was a possibility that one was a fake corpse. After all, Beto didn't see anything and read during that game. Well done, correct. A fake death is one of the basics of the mystery genre. Even if you make a doctor examine the corpse, you can't trust the results if you suspect him of being the culprit's accomplice. Therefore, corpses can't guarantee a death for certain or always disadvantages. For the witch's side, you can suspect fake deaths for all corpses, hypnotizing that one or more of them is the culprit for the crimes that follow. It's a move Battler doesn't like, but it's the most elementary move to use against the witch. Yeah, that's right. That's why Beto started using the red. With the red truth, you could carry out a perfect autopsy. That's how it is. Normally, for the first Twilight, I could use the red truth right away, confirming the death in 6v6. However, you know my battle strategy this time is complete opposite of previous games, and I'll not use red truth starvation tactics. Just use it as a grounding from which to counterattack. I will not use the red easily. I'll make you come apart the seams by using red in just a single place as rarely as possible. In the end, that means I will permit all ranks regarding your guesswork for all the closed rooms. I only have smashed one of those ones with the red truth. Hee even though you've always teased me once, I started counterattacking you now. Pull up back inside your shell. Quit kidding around. Anyway, I do not want to use the red. I want to be stingy. I want to bully Battler. How could I guarantee death for certain without using red? I worried and worried over it. That gap gave me an idea. It truly is a simple method. I just point out something obvious. You hit upon the idea of reshuck simply so that you only had to create corpses whose identity could be distinguished and whose complete death would be understood. In short, I put those two distinct things together. The face, which is necessary to distinguish our identity, and the pulverization of the head, the vessel for the soul, which is the perfect symbol of death. When I pull those two parts neatly together, wonderful! I came up with the perfect answer of the corpses their heads have smashed. I bet you love two-colored breads and two-colored ice cream. You're just like a greedy kid. At any rate, even if half their heads are smashed, well, you wouldn't assume that they're dead at the point in time. I guess Spirito's trying to act tough and is refusing to say anything weird. We gotta suspect everything. Of course, I'm definitely not gonna swallow the theory of a magical mass murder by the shyster as Nichans. You sure have gotten prudent. If this were the first game, you would have swallowed everything. I wouldn't have anything less from a rival, since there is fortunately no red now. He can imagine whatever he wants and reason over and over again as he likes. At the very end, the sweetest spot I could have done at the once at the red truth. Ooh. Yeah. My nose is stuffy a little. 57 minutes in. Okay, so it's a little bit. It's about an average length video, I guess. A little under an hour. Okay, guys, so I'm ending the video here, and I'll see y'all later.